So you got to make sure when you got it, you don't make a mess. Because if you put it on tiles, and you try to wipe it off, you're going to make a mess. You're not going to wipe it off. You're just going to smear it everywhere, and it's going to stay there forever. And you can rub for 10 years, and all we see is streak. So be really careful with silicone. It's important to have it, but at the same time, it's important not to use too much. Don't go too crazy on it. You don't need much. You didn't make such a big hole. Make sure there's nothing in the way of the silicone, and make sure it doesn't ooze and fall on somewhere. Keep the tip clean. You know, minor things make a big difference with the job at the end. Take my silicone, and I'm going to just put a dab, just very little, on my insert and hole that I made. Just clean it off, just a touch, but not too bad, just enough. Okay, so we know we've got a water seal now, and there's no water that can penetrate behind that, because that's a problem. Sometimes you want to install things and make things look good, and all of a sudden you got holes everywhere, and when you take a shower you don't realize the water just keeps dripping in. It's going to drip in. Fine, it might not cause a leak because it's a little bit of time, but you're going to get mold growing inside your wall cavity. We're going to take the screws that the manufacturer supplied us with our accessory, and now never try to use steel screws or even galvanized, really, because you're going to rust. So you want stainless steel screws or brass when you're dealing with water. Anything else is going to rust, and then if it rusts, it's going to run. And if you got white grout, you're going to have rust lines in your grout, and that's not very good. So basically, what I like to do in such a delicate situation is maybe just use an old-fashioned screwdriver, because there's really no power involved. You know, they're very, very little screws. So I think maybe I'm just going to start them off with a screwdriver and be careful about the whole thing. This specific accessory has little caps for your screw to hide your screw head. So I mean, you could probably do without them, but
so what do you do with them?
It would look a lot better. So you've got a screw, and it gives you a little cap to put on it, and then we can hide that screw, the screw head. Okay, so it looks a lot more finished. It'll be all chromed, because our accessory is chrome. So I'm going to go with one screw first. Like I said, very careful. See where the drill here is a very bad spot. So if you had a big drill and it was turning on your accessory, you'd probably scratch it up. So maybe it's a good idea. Start with a screwdriver and get your first screw in. Make sure it's in deep enough, right? Now I'm just going to let that be for a second, and I'm going to put the second screw in before I fully tighten first screw. So we put again another little cover in, and now we're going to put this screw in to the wall. Again, very carefully, don't scratch up your fixture, because the finishes are very shiny and stuff, and I mean, try to use something with a plastic handle, no steel handles, and just put in your screws. Remember, your objective is to keep everything nice and new and straight and square and shiny. So if you take your time, you'll probably have a lot more success. Now, this actual fixture has 4 screw holes, but I decided to go with only 2 in the top, because the middle holes didn't wind up in my grout lines, and I didn't want to start drilling my tiles, because like I said in the beginning, you never know when you want to get rid of this thing. And if you want to get rid of it, you're going to have 2 holes in your tiles, and you're not going to know what to do with it, especially if it's ceramic. They're going to be red holes. So I'm better off just to, I mean, these screws are more than enough to hold a couple of shampoo bottles. Nice and tight, and nice and tight. Our fixture is in. Everything looks good. As there's the right now, we're going to put a cap and just cover that screw up with a beautiful chrome cap.
Can you see it?
And there's the finished product on the tip there. That's the end of that. So you follow all those rules, you shouldn't have a problem. And that's the finished product. So that's all done. This hole's got silicone. Now all of a sudden if water drips here, it's not going to go through our holes. It's going to be all water sealed and everything will be fine. It's nice and strong. This isn't going anywhere. I mean, you can't use it as a grab bar, but it's more than enough for shampoo bottles. And if you don't feel comfortable doing things like this, please consult a professional and get it done properly if you're not able to do something like that. Thank you very much.